Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today's February the 10th, 2019, the home of the 2-minute price prediction, as well as giving you all the news according to the charts. We're going to talk about XRP today and if what SWIFT has created can bring down XRP. Okay, we're going to look at this article that was posted to the internet on February 6, 2019 by Penny Krausman. But before I do that, I want to make sure that if this is your first time come to our particular channel, make sure that you all go ahead and subscribe before you leave. Hit that bell notification so you become notified of when we upload this particular type of content, because we're the only organization that literally dissects articles that we run across on the internet and make sure that it really matches what the price chart is insinuating, because the price chart is also the news and we are giving you our perspective by the price chart only. And on top of that, we make sure that the article that we come across, if it actually makes sense to what the price chart is displaying. Okay, as well, if you like the video, make sure that you all go ahead and like and share this content too, because we want to get this information out far and wide, because the confusion is running rampant across the internet. There has been a lot of persuasive information out there to try to sway the mind of people into one direction, and the only way that you can dispel that type of activity is through the price chart. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started in our analysis for today. This is the response from SWIFT to XRP. Is this SWIFT answer to Ripple? SWIFT has a target painted on its back, which is true, and a number of upstarts, talk about cryptocurrency companies, are aiming for it. But a new technology it is experimenting with could be the shield SWIFT has been looking for. Okay, one of its rivals, everyone understands if you've been in this cryptocurrency space for a while, is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. He is fond of referring to SWIFT as a horse and buggy, and his cryptocurrency XRP as the race car. Ripple will take business away from SWIFT is what he's been saying. What we're doing and executing on a day-to-day basis is in fact taking over SWIFT, he told Bloomberg recently. This is what the CEO of Ripple has stated. Well, SWIFT has came back with something else. SWIFT, which was once considered Ripple and other tech company rivals as an existential threat, has struck a more confident tone right now. SWIFT says the progress it is making with so-called global payments innovation. This is the system that SWIFT is using to battle against XRP and the other cryptocurrency company that is vying for its position. Global Payments Innovation, or GPI. It's a technology that allows banks to see where their payments are at all times, and that comes with rules around response and confirmation times. This will neutralize the competitive threat posed by Ripple and others. GPI. It says its bankers are happy with the speed and insight GPI gives them. This is the thing that SWIFT is trying to insinuate that Ripple and the other competition does not do. It does not give banks insight that GPI does. This is the book of GPI recently. This is the vital statistics on SWIFT's payment tracking software. Okay, this is the number of banks currently that is using it. 450 banks are using it. They are processing $300 billion in settlement volume. 80% share of international payments are going through this particular system. 50% share of payments credited within 30 minutes. So half of payments credited are being completed in 30 minutes, and 40%, which is not far from the 50% in 30 minutes, is done in 5 minutes. This is what SWIFT is arguing about. The distributed ledger technology does not fix the delays in international payments that typically occur for two reasons. The first reason is that legal and regulatory requirements make the use of shared ledger impossible among banks that lack mutual know your customer relationships. Second thing, banks are unwilling to let their rivals see how much money they have. So I guess a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space forgot that banks are in competition to make money as well. Manus Kohli, the global head of payments and receivables at Citi, and he's a supporter of GPI, agrees with that argument. He said he looks at 5 things in international payments: cost, speed, transparency, convenience, and security. While originally the industry thought GPI will only provide transparency, he said now everyone agrees that it helps in all 5 areas. With GPI, we can see the charges banks have made along the way and how long they have taken to process a payment, Kohli said. Seeing how much each bank is deducting puts pressure on the ecosystem to reduce costs. If customers can see how long a bank is taking to move a payment, that forces banks to move toward faster processing or straight through processing and speed up the time that it typically takes to send money across borders. This is why banks are going to use GPI according to S.W.I.F.T. While Ripple says it has 200 companies using this software, S.W.I.F.T. says it has 450 banks, which handle 80% of international payments, are already using its GPI technology. So Ripple has companies, S.W.I.F.T. has banks. 80% of all international payments is going through S.W.I.F.T. and not XRP. More than $300 billion of payments is settled over GPI daily. GPI is essentially a payment tracker. Okay. GPI does not in and of itself speed the payment up. So they're already telling you in this article that it is not for the speed aspect of why banks will be using this system. However, according to S.W.I.F.T., GPI banks commit to confirming payments within the same day. Half of GPI payments are credited within 30 minutes, and we've seen in that previous infographic, and 40% are credited within 5 minutes. One banker, a new Ripple customer, recently told me he had sent a payment internationally on December 29th and on January 4th didn't know where it was. This is the kind of thing Ripple rails against. Yet, Raymakers said Ripple's technology does not address the underlying problem, which is a regulatory one. Kohli would like to see all banks using GPI and more services offered through it. One example of a recently added service is a stop and recall payment. Another one that S.W.I.F.T. is working on is called pre-validation of payments. So S.W.I.F.T. is building on this system GPI, and as they continue to add more value to this system, will definitely push other companies away from XRP to this particular innovation. Alternatives such as Ripple will be more effective only when all banks use it. This is what Kohli is talking about. Because of that KYC and the regulatory barricades that is hindering most banks from using XRP right now, is KYC. So in order for Ripple to really be taking over the international payments realm, it will need to have all banks use this cryptocurrency. It needs 11,000 banks to be speaking the same language and have that technology embedded for a bank to be able to successfully send payments to another bank. That's a very long haul for all banks to start adopting such alternatives. And the ideal of using cryptocurrencies in international payments is remote, he said. Very few banks would do this, if any at all, because the market risk that cryptocurrencies carry, Kohli said. That's right now. Never say never that S.W.I.F.T. will not be using distributed ledger technology. Last year, S.W.I.F.T. and 40 member banks ran a blockchain proof of concept for so-called nostril reconciliation. This is the last thing that this article goes into that I wanted to show you all. SWIFT made an agreement with R3. At the end of January, SWIFT announced that it is partnering with R3 to give GPI Link work with its Corda Cellular distributed ledger. News accounts gave the impression that the giant payment network was embracing the idea that faster distributed ledger technology will replace the framework or correspondent banks' nostrils accounts and the store and forward messages that SWIFT maintains, and that SWIFT was going to use XRP, the digital currency of Ripple. The price of XRP shot up. But however, this article goes on to state that none of this is true. Companies use R3's Corda Cellular to trade among one another. R3 is adding SWIFT GPI to the options Corda Cellular using companies that they can turn to when they want to initiate a payment beside using XRP. The payment itself will settle between banks as usual over the SWIFT network, and the corporates will be able to track the payments. So this is actually a win for Shift over Ripple. Tell me what you all think about this article. It's an article written by the American banker, and it has some points in here that XRP will have to contend with. They're trying to offset that competition, and the other upstarts in the market for cryptocurrencies are trying to take the position of SWIFT. And as of right now, they're using this innovative system called GPI to do just that. And they're building off of this system to make sure that they will maintain their position as the international payments giant right now. So now let's go ahead and look at the price chart to see whether or not the negativity that this article is insinuating about XRP, see if it's coming to pass. Last time we did our video for XRP, we said that it should be able to hold consolidation. The market is definitely not following through with that push and go bar we've seen on the 8th of February. Continues to tell us that we're holding consolidation still. Okay, 32 cents could not be broken to the upside in Ripple, continuing the fact that we had 2 opportunities or 2 days for this market to break above 32 cents and it did not do it. Tells us that 32 cents is still a very strong resistance area. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the 3-hour bars for XRP. And again, you can see here that the market is still trying to stay above our ascension line. We cannot reiterate enough how important this line is for this currency. The longer that this currency stays above the ascension line, the more likely it is to move higher. But once it breaks down to the downside, we're going to get more of this action again. And literally, we're not seeing any momentum coming into this particular cryptocurrency. Already know that 32 cents is resistance, and the support area lies at many points. Okay, 30 cents is the next support area in XRP, and then 29 cents once again. Considering the fact that this currency was not able to break above 32 cents, we're still expecting the market to have another break down to the downside. Okay, as of this particular moment, we are holding above this ascension line. Now, given the risk prospects that can continue, I would say maybe around 15-20% chance for that to continue. But overall, since that strength is waning in the market for XRP, you would expect this particular market at best to hold consolidation. But we're still leaning for this market in the short term to continue to move to the downside. Okay, the 1-hour chart for XRP continues to show us that support area is still coming in strong, but we're still banging our head against resistance at 31 cents. So this market is not ready for higher prices, not yet, but I can still see it trying to hold this ascension line to try to move to the upside. But considering the long-term move of XRP, this is just a consolidational period that we're enduring. Okay, 32 cents as resistance and 29 cents as support. Definitely just an opportunity if you're interested to accumulate as many of these coins as possible. We're not seeing any directional move coming for this currency as of yet. Okay, So literally, I'm just seeing the market in XRP holding consolidation. I have already identified my resistance and support areas. So just expect XRP to hold those prices a little while longer in the near term. Okay. So that's our analysis for XRP. And considering what this article has read about SWIFT new payment system, GPI, it will have an impact on XRP in the future. So Garden House is going to have come up with a little bit more technology for its XRP protocol to make sure that it's able to replace this old, outdated SWIFT payment network system. Go ahead and give us your thoughts, give us your opinion as to what you think about the article. Give us a comment in the comment section of the video. The link will be in the description of this video if you're interested in reading more about this article for yourself. While you're there, make sure that you go ahead and like and share this content. Make sure you all maintain your profitability. And we do have a website at HueFinancial.com. You all are interested there to give a little bit more information of the news that we are putting out in the internet space. Make sure you all maintain your profitability. I will talk to you all later.